Hey everyone. My topic this day is concerning the myth and the truth about the current coronavirus that is pandemic in the whole wide world now. Basically, the aspect I want to talk about is on the myth and the truth. The first that people spread about the virus, and of course, which of them is truth. The first question I want to address is concerning the age of coronavirus. Many people are believing that coronavirus is just coming up in the year 2019. That is a fallacy. That is a lie. Coronavirus has been with us for a very long time. The first coronavirus experience was recorded in the year almost 500 years ago now. And we have it always occurring in birds and bats, especially. But of recent, we have in the year 2003, the acute syndrome, the one we call SARS. We call it SARS. That one occurred in the year 2003. And of course, it has been with us here too. It is mainly, we call it the severe acute respiratory syndrome. And then we have it also, Middle East respiratory syndrome. We have about 3 more that occurred in that year, between that 2006 and 2003 and 2006. But nonetheless, last year, in 2019 to be precise, a strain of coronavirus came up, a genetically motivated COVID-19 that is quite different from every other form of coronavirus. It has not occurred before. The one that we are having that was occurring in children only affects children then. It affects their respiratory system. It affects the every organ that's connected with the respiration, from the trachea to the tracheolis, the bronchus, the bronchioles, the alveoli, everything about lung generally. But of recent, in that 2019, COVID-19 came up, and it first occurred in Wuhan, in China. That was the first record of coronavirus that we have that is causing the pandemic now. Then, let me go to my explanation here will be based on 4 different points. I want to consider those people that are at risk of coronavirus, who can be affected by coronavirus. We want to see what are the symptoms that come up with coronavirus, and then what treatment can we give to coronavirus. I want to give this to give my topic, my talk in these 3 categories. First, who are at risk? We believe that, especially in Africa here, more so in Nigeria, that the Nigerian government is playing pranks with the citizens by just telling us fallacies, by telling us lies that COVID-19 is affecting us in the country Nigeria. But I want to tell us, they believe was that COVID-19 can never affect any black man or anybody that is in the side of Africa. This is a fallacy. This is a lie from the pit of hell. COVID-19 can affect every human being. You are black, you are white, you are young, you are old, you are intelligent or otherwise. It can affect anybody. But the only thing they are in now is that it affects people that are with the one underlying disease, maybe like asthma or some other diseases with them. It affects them more than the other people. But nonetheless, it can affect anybody worldwide in the world, both in China, in Nigeria, in Africa, and everywhere. No wonder, therefore, we are having it in Nigeria here now. And of course, let's talk more about how it affects young and old. People will believe that it's only the old that it affects. No, it is not true. It can affect both the old and the young. The old and the young can get it, but it can become more severe in the old, especially those ones that are having one kind of form of severe underlying factor or the other. But nonetheless, it can affect anybody generally. But it shows more symptoms in the old than in the young, and then in the sick than in those people that are really healthy. Then, what the symptoms? The symptoms of COVID-19. We think that everybody that have COVID-19 will be very, very sick. That is not the truth. We heard of our governor from Oyo State, Seyi Makinde. He was sick of the virus, but at the end of the day, he self-quarantined himself, and then without taking much drug like he told us, he was never referred to any isolation center. And at the end of the day, he was able to come back, able to agility. He recovered within 7 days. That is how COVID-19 does. But there are some that may even be younger than him that get infected with this sickness and they die. Why? Because they are having one underlying sickness or disease. Maybe they are suffering, like I said the other time, from asthma. Some that have very weak immune system, they are bound to have this sickness earlier than, more than the other people. And of course, people that die mainly, they do not die of COVID-19, but rather like HIV. HIV do not kill. So also coronavirus do not kill. It is, we call them opportunistic infection. When they get to the body, they make the immunity of the system to go down. Especially those ones that are having weak immune system, the immune system goes down, and so therefore the ready-made soldier of the body will not be able to fight. When you have tuberculosis as HIV patient, or maybe when you have asthma as a coronavirus patient, then those sickness and diseases will easily kill that person. That is what happens therein. But for those that are having their immune system very strong, and of course they are not sick of any underlying sickness or disease, they are not likely going to die. In fact, people can come across this virus, and at the end of the day, they will not show any sign at all. But that does not mean that they are not having the virus, even in them. And then I go on to the symptoms. The symptoms still include that can someone have, excuse me, can we tell people that are having coronavirus from face? Can we say, oh, this person is suffering from COVID-19? It is not possible. Even when somebody is having the symptoms of COVID-19, there are many other sicknesses and diseases that share that symptoms. For example, cough, sneezing, high fever. Ordinary malaria can have all this whatever they are in, and that is why people believe that, okay, people that are having malaria, those are the people that are being arrested and they are quarantined in isolation centers, and they are said that, okay, they are having coronavirus. That is not the truth. So it is we have to put it in mind that it is not everybody that have this whatever that are having coronavirus. But nonetheless, also, we should not believe that once you don't have all this, you are not sick, you are not weak, you are not coughing, that means that you are not having coronavirus. It's a lie. You must go to test center. It is only by test that we can know who and who is not having COVID-19, right? I will from here move on to prevention, treatment, and the cure. Yes, when the sickness came up in Nigeria around February, March, you see many people, especially the motorists, the conductors and things like that, they will tell you, before you enter my vehicle, you have to drink Chelsea, you have to drink Ogogoro, you have to drink Abeteshi. Why? Because they believe that all these ones are able to cure COVID-19, which is a great fallacy. Though alcohol, in real sense of it, can dissolve the extracellular wall of COVID-19, but that is not when it has affected the lungs. That is not when it has gone into the respiratory system. It is only when it will still have it on surfaces. For example, you have it on rails, on the handles of cars or whatever like that. You can use your alcohol to wipe that one off, and it dies off immediately. But not that when you drink all this alcohol, whatever, that is when you are going to be cured of the sickness. In fact, as at now, there is not known cure for the sickness, for COVID-19. No cure yet has been found for it. And people will be thinking that, okay, people that are sick of HIV, once they take their antiretroviral drug, that they are going to be healed of COVID-19. That is not true again. Antiretroviral virus, that is an antiretroviral treatment, ART, is good for COVID, is good for HIV, but not for COVID-19. But now, what happens there is that if somebody has HIV and have COVID-19 also, the two of them are opportunistic infection, like I said before. But when you are taking your ART regularly, then you can be sure that your HIV is not going to be the one that's going to kill now, but rather the immune system that is low, that then opportunistic infection can come up and then use COVID-19 herein. So it is not true that you can use ART for treatment of both HIV and COVID-19. Then people are saying that COVID-19 cannot be effective in African countries, for example. They say that because of the sun, there is still plenty of sun, and so this virus cannot stay in a hot environment. That is also a lie. COVID-19, the virus, like we know for many bacteria and many other viruses, they can exist in very different range of temperature. Though we believe that there is a certain limit of temperature that COVID-19 will not be active, but that does not mean that they are dead. If you are in that sun and then the virus is on your body, then by the time you leave the sun, it comes back able to get you infected. And even you stay in the sun does not mean that something is not going to get you infected if you touch your face, your nose, or your mouth, even with that virus even on your body as well. So the idea of you staying in hot environment is not an issue at all. Then we have it that you can avoid COVID-19 by drinking plenty of water, especially warm water. Some will even taking out hot water, taking of plenty of hot coffee or hot tea. That is not true also. COVID-19 does not really stay in the mouth. By the time it gets infected into the mouth, from there, or maybe in the nose or the eye, it finds its way directly into the respiratory system through the trachea, the bronchioles, and the bronchioles, and of course go directly into the lungs. So it does not stay in the mouth. If it stays in the mouth, that's when you'll be thinking of fighting it in the mouth. That will have gone directly into the organ that is used even for respiration, which is the lungs. So it's good for us if we drink water, drink tea. It's good for the body entirely, but nonetheless, it is not an antidote to not getting COVID-19. Well, then people even believe that if I drink, like I said the other time, ogogoro, some people even believe that they can drink disinfectant. Some will tell you, go and drink Dettol. Some will tell you, go and dilute Dettol and drink it. You won't have COVID-19. It's a fallacy, and of course, it can kill. In fact, I tell us, all this one, your bleach, your Dettol, your alcohol are only effective in cleaning surfaces. You use it to clean the surface that is commonly touched, maybe like the handle of a door, maybe when you want to enter a car, whatever like that, or the rail, where we have a rails on staircases and things like that. You can use alcohol, you can use bleach, you can use Dettol or any other disinfectant at all to get them clean at that point in time, but not to the extent of you drinking it. As some other people will also tell us that this material also you can use it in bathing. They tell you that you mix it with water, then let it be plenty now, the concentration be high, then you use it to bath. That's not good for the body as well. It can create a lot of after effect on the body. When you use bleach, when you use too much of Dettol or any other disinfectant to bath, it is not good to the body at all. So I will encourage us not to go for that one at all. Okay? Then people are talking of using of chloroquine, what we call hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine for that just matter. I want to tell us, as at now, there, like I said, and I am repeating again, there has never been any confirmed treatment for COVID-19. So I will tell us, when anybody have any symptom of this sickness, the best thing for that person is to go to the testing center. Let him be tested. If it's tested and confirmed positive, then the government will take it over from there. It does not really need any drug. No wonder, therefore, we find out that people are saying, okay, people that have been infected, people that are they go to this place, they have not even told us what medicine they give them to them. Some people will use it, like Dr. Percy, Raymond Dr. Percy says that he was given malaria treatment. That may be true, because why? What to treat is the opportunistic infection, not the COVID-19 itself. Treat the opportunistic infection, and then the immune system of the body will be able to take care of this material that we call COVID-19 by itself. So I encourage us not to engage ourselves in what we call self-medication. And also, some people will be talking about many other abilities. Like some people will believe that, okay, you hide yourself under hot environment, like I mentioned the other time. Some people will even say boil water, and then put the water underneath. Cover yourself with cloth, with a blanket, with this like that, so that you can feel warm. It might be good. It is something that we have been doing in Africa before now to get our bones strengthened and things like that. But I tell you, it does not go against COVID-19. And so I want to submit here, most of these myths that we believe in Africa, especially in Nigeria here, they are never truth. And so when anybody feels any symptoms, you see any symptoms, the best advice would be seek the advice of a doctor. Go to the center, or if otherwise, you just call the call center. That is the COVID-19 the CDC call center. There they will come, do the test, and if need be, they get you isolated.
Hello,
That is my submission.
everyone.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Tea Summit. I am Surat Hodunlami Jafar. I am a nutritionist, and I'll be taking up the topic on how to build our immune system to fight off the COVID-19 pandemic. So the immune system is a complex network of cells and protein that defends the body against infection. So it helps to fight off foreign cells to protect us against illnesses. So our immune system is the first defense we have. It's the first defense we have against any infection. So in order to prevent ourselves from getting infected with coronavirus or any other microorganisms infection, so our body system, our immune system needs to be very active and needs to be very, very strong in order to prevent these microorganisms from entering into our body system, and also combating or fighting off those that eventually have their way into our body system. When our immune system is working correctly, we don't get to notice it. It is only when we have issues, probably our immune system is very weak, that the performance of our immune system is being compromised, that we face illnesses. So some people, most times, they can when they have a very strong immune system, they might not even fall ill or fall sick for a very long period of time. It is only when when they have issues or the immune system is very weak that they tend to have issues with their when they have issues with their immune system, that they fall sick. So it's most times we have diseases or sicknesses when the microorganism or the foreign object has overpowered our immune system, our white blood cells, which are the body's soldiers. So we need to get our white blood cells well equipped. We need to feed them what they want in order to make them active and very, very strong. Food is the best way to absorb all these our essential nutrients that the white blood cells requires. So we need to talk about the nutrients and foods required to build our immune system. Since food is one of the very first important things, we need to feed our white blood cell the nutrients that they required in order for them to be able to fight off in order to build up the immune system. So now, one of the very important nutrients is we have to increase our vitamin A intake. You understand? Nutrients are the chemical substances that the body requires to perform all these functions that it's performing. Nutrients is what the body makes use of to get ourselves protected from infection, to provide ourselves with energy, to repair our worn out tissues and all that. So the major nutrients or the essential nutrients that the white blood cells needs in order to boost the power of our immune system, which is like our white blood cells are like our body soldiers. You understand? So we need to feed them with the correct nutrients they require. One of it is that number one is that we should increase our vitamin A intake. Vitamin A is an essential nutrient for our health, so it helps to support cell growth, and it also helps in immune function, fetal development, and clear vision. So those are the major functions of vitamin A. So one of the functions is that it helps to build the immune function. It increases the action of the immune system, the immune system. So where do we get vitamin A from? We can get vitamin A from a lot of fruits. Best sources of vitamin A are, we have the sweet potatoes, we have the egg, we have butter, we have papaya, that's the purple, we have carrots, milk, liver, and cabbage. You understand? We have a lot of it. We have pepper, chili powder, lettuce, scotch herbs, and so on. dried apricots. So those are where we can get our vitamin A. So if we take for this period, we need to increase our intake of all these fruits or food item in order to make our body, our immune system function correctly. The next one is vitamin C. Vitamin C is very rich. It's a powerful antioxidant, and it is very necessary for growth and repair of tissues in the body system. So vitamin C helps to strengthen our immune system, to fight illnesses by assisting our white blood cells. So this vitamin C does a whole lot of function in helping to boost or to build our immune system. One very good way to do that is to eat foods that are very rich in vitamin C in order to be able to fight the new coronavirus that is causing the pandemic, you understand. So we need to be able to fight this new coronavirus, so we need to boost our immune system. So one food that are very rich in vitamin C is that they are vitamin C is a very natural source. We can get vitamin C, like we have them in our oranges. We can get them from our oranges, red pepper, thyme, tomato, oranges, lemon, grapes, guava, broccoli, strawberry, green leafy vegetables, parsley, thyme, and so on, kiwi. So vitamin C is readily available around us, you understand. Most times we get to take a whole lot of things around us that we can have good sources of vitamin C. So it's a very, very rich to consume on a regular diet. We need to consume it in our foods on a regular diet. The third one is increase in vitamin D. Vitamin D, intake of vitamin D. So body makes this with the help of sunlight. So our body can actually make this vitamin D with the help of the sunlight that comes out in the morning. But also we can get about 20% of it from the food we eat. So the food sources of vitamin D, or that we can get this 20% from, is also we can get it from egg, cod liver oil, from the milk, from fish, from sunlight, and those are the good sources of mushroom, oysters, meat. So those are the good sources of vitamin D. Then also another very good nutrient we need to always watch out for is vitamin E, because it's a fat-soluble vitamin. You understand? This nutrient is a fat-soluble vitamin and vitamin compound with antioxidant properties. It has a very great antioxidant properties, which is essential to boost the immune system. So it helps to protect cells from damage caused by unstable molecules called free radicals. So this vitamin E sources include almond, peanuts, beetroot, avocados, spinach. Then we have soya bean, almond, white germ oil, green vegetables. We can also get vitamin E from banana. Another good nutrient that we really need to increase or boost the intake during this period in order to increase our immune system is zinc. Zinc is a mineral, it's a vital mineral, it's one of the very essential nutrients. It's a mineral and it's very vital for the survival, and also helps the body to fight off invading bacteria and viruses. So this zinc is very important because it helps to invade bacteria and viruses. So where do we get this zinc minerals from? We can get it from lamb, from beef, pumpkin seeds, nuts, oats, turkey, shrimps, and green peas. So all these are the major nutrients that the body requires to build, some of the major nutrients that the body requires to build or to boost the immune system. So also I'll be talking about the foods to boost your immune system. Number one of it is garlic. Garlic is one of the best natural antibiotics and antiviral. You understand? It's a very natural antibiotics and antiviral. So the unique component in it is the sulfur. It needs sulfur compound in garlic, which helps to resolve some kind of illnesses of all kinds. You understand? It helps to resolve some illnesses of all kinds, including pneumonia, prevents food poisoning, improve intestinal health. So in fact, garlic is very effective in killing off a host of gut pathogens, including a lot of candida microorganisms, while at the same time feeding and encouraging the growth of beneficial microorganisms. You see why we need garlic in our diets. It's very, very necessary and important. Another good food we need to include in our diet is ginger. Ginger is a potent antioxidant, and it's very excellent for boosting our immune system, and it's very high in many nutrients. Has also an anti-inflammatory, microbial inflammatory agent. So sources of the third one is papaya. That's pawpaw. We can get pawpaw very loaded with vitamin C, potassium, and potassium. So we have green tea, broccoli, some other nutrients we can take. Green tea, broccoli, and spinach, celery. Increase our water intake. Then aloe vera is very good. Orange, tangerine, apple, red bell pepper, turmeric, poultry, almond and nuts, shellfish, sunflower seeds, egg, milk sauce, water. And so in fact, we should also ensure that all meals they come in a warm temperature, because warm temperature helps to prevent growth of viruses and microorganisms. So we also need to note that the pH of coronavirus varies from 5.5 to 8.5. So we need to take things that have something below, very acid, something below. Therefore, all we have to do is to eliminate the virus, is to consume more alkaline foods above the acidity level of the virus. So we need to consume all alkaline foods that can help us to eliminate the acidity of the coronavirus. So, such as green lemon. Green lemon has a pH of about 9.9. Yellow lemon has a pH of about 8.2 pH. Avocado has about 15.6. Garlic about 13.2. Mango 8.7. Tangerine 8.5. Pineapple 12.7. You understand? Watercress 22.7. Oranges about 9.2. So with this kind of alkaline state of all these food items, it's going to eliminate the presence of viruses if eventually they get into our body system. So we can have a warm water lemon. So also at times in the morning, in order to boost our immune system, we need to have some kind of way we take all these things. You understand? We need to reduce the toxins in our body. We need to boost our immune system. Early in the monastic, for instance, we can get our warm water, add blended ginger and garlic and lemon. So if we have honey, we can add it to it. Then we take it warm early in the morning in order to cleanse off the viruses, microorganisms, toxins from our body system. You understand? During this period, we need very warm things and things to boost our immune system. So if we try to take these things like 2-3 times a day, we are sure of having a very strong immune system, because we don't have all the toxins, the viruses would have been washed off through excretion in our body system. You understand? In order early in the morning to keep off toxins in the body. So this can help us to reduce or eliminate the viruses at the beginning before it's reaching the lungs. You understand? So if we eventually have if we eventually allow that the viruses get into our body system by taking all this kind of mixture, warm water with ginger, garlic, honey, and some of all these foods I've been saying. They will help the elimination of these viruses before it gets to the lungs, that it will now be having effect. So those are the foods required to boost our immune system, and also the nutrients the body required in order to supply the white blood cells in order to build the immune system. So now I'll be moving on to the tips to build our immune system in this COVID-19 period. We need to have some tips or things or guidelines ourselves to prevent all these things. So we need to fend off coronaviruses from even entering into our body system. Even if before it enters into our body system, we need to prevent it. You understand? Prevention is better than cure. So it's better we prevent most times from it entering into our body system, and we need to manage and fight it effectively if eventually it gets into our body system, so as not to allow it to break down our immune system and also allow it to overpower our white blood cells, which serves as a body soldiers to us. So what are the tips? Number one, keeping personal hygiene. This is done by preventing microorganisms like germs, bacteria, or viruses from entering into our body system at all or coming to us. So we need to always clean our body with soap and water and try to keep our body clean. Our body clean, our environment, our foods, maintain standard hygiene. We should be free from all these viruses and germs at all time. So we need to maintain standard hygiene. That is total cleanliness. Then we need to have good sleep, rest. We need to good sleep, rest, and reduce stress in order to keep ourselves healthy. So this is to rejuvenate and fight off infection along with a good balanced diet. So with a good balanced diet, good sleep, rest, and reduce stress, we are sure of having a healthy and strong immune system. You understand? Then we should also eat balanced diet. You understand? We should eat good foods. Good foods that is rich in energy. We should eat foods that is rich in energy because our white blood cells needs energy to fight off or to allow the immune system to work hard to fight off the foreign objects, the viruses, if it gets into our body system. So we also need to eat lots of fruits and vegetables. Like I've said earlier on, we have to consume a wide range of vegetables which should provide enough vitamins and minerals to support our healthy immune system. Then we should fuel up our body system. The body needs enough carbohydrates and energy, like I said earlier on, in order to fight the diseases, that's the white blood cells, hereby boosting the immune system. Then we should try to exercise moderately. Then also, we need to stay hydrated with water and minerals. Mineral coconut water, which helps to boost the electrolytes and that the body needed. So the electrolytes such as the iron, the manganese, the potassium, etc. So those are the electrolytes we can get from the coconut water, and we should also boost our water intake. We should take a lot of water into our every time. We should take a lot of water so that our bodies will take a lot of water. So a well-hydrated body is best equipped for maximum immunity. A well-hydrated body is well equipped for maximum immunity. And similarly, we should try to avoid excess alcohol consumption because it can act as a diuretic and reduce hydration. You understand? So we should also try to keep our guts healthy to maintain a healthy immune system. How do we keep our guts healthy? This is done by supporting the disease fighters, that is the immune system in your guts. The disease fighters by eating foods that are very rich in probiotics. Foods that are rich in probiotics such as your yogurt, the onion, garlic, ginger, and other fermented foods. Those are the probiotic where foods are very rich in probiotics. Then, as much as possible, we should try to avoid refined sugar and processed food. Next, at this time of time, we should try to always go for pure natural honey. Take a lot of natural food spices like the natural food spices like the cardamom, the rosemary. In fact, there are some natural food spices that we can use to prepare our foods. So we should try as much as possible to go organic and be natural and prevent and stop taking processed food, because the nature has provided medicine in the food we are eating. The food we are eating itself is enough to boost our immune system, to fight off white blood cells, to fight off foreign bodies that eventually find their ways into our body, to boost our immune system, to make us strong and get better during this COVID pandemic. May God protect every one
Today,
of us and
I'll be
increase
looking
our
at
health
the
and strength.
challenges of unemployment in the aftermath of COVID 19. This is an interesting topic. The challenges of unemployment in the aftermath of COVID 19. We'll look at this topic and one will ask, what are the likely challenges? You see, COVID 19 is an experience, it's a global experience that no one had ever prepared for, not even the Western world. Wuhan in China, where it started, nobody there got prepared for it as that is going to be as big as it is today. America, as big as American economy and the government, never expected it to be this big. Britain had the biggest shock. But the fact is that the Western world were even thinking by the time it gets to Africa, it's going to be worse than they are having it in Europe. But glory be to God Almighty, we are even having it less in Africa compared to their imagination, their belief, and speculation. So many research have been taken, and they believe it's going to be a very devastating experience in Africa. Despite our bad leadership, we've not had it as worse as it is in Europe. Only God can explain that. But we're not looking at the coronavirus itself as a problem right now. But we're looking at a problem that has been identified. The issue of unemployment. Last few weeks ago, I read myself online when they said Access Bank had closed down over 320 branches nationwide. If Access Bank closed 320 branches, the first question we should ask is, how many persons are employed in one branch? And when you have an organization like Access Bank, you should think of both direct employment and indirect employment. Direct employment are the people that are directly employed by the bank themselves. And I know to run a branch of Access Bank, they won't be having less than 20 to 30 staffs. Then let's talk about the indirect employment. We have some customers, some contract staff. Some of them work as marketer, some of them work as cleaners, some of them work as security guards, day guard, and watch night guard. Even the gatemen that open the gate while others are coming in. And we know we have some persons in the bank hall wearing security or the bank rested polo. Their assignment is just to make sure there is orderliness in the bank and there is sanity in the bank environment. All these people most times are contract staff. They are also going to be affected. Then we also have another category of indirect employment. Now people whose business rests on the workers of the bank. The food vendors. They sell drinks, they sell utensils like pencil, biro around the bank. that the major customers to those vendors are practically the staff of the bank. Now, all these persons put together will be more than 100, and each one of them have more than 1 to 5 dependents. If over 100 people are losing their job around a branch of Access Bank, that means we should be expecting more in the case of when we are looking at the number of dependents on them, multiply by the number of staff that are directly and indirectly affected, multiply by the number of branches that were closed nationwide. And we are talking of Access Bank alone right now. What about other banks? What about other financial institutions and other institutions that are not even financial institutions? Teachers are not left out, especially private school teachers. To some point, it's even affecting government staff, because as the private schools are, some will be closing down, some are laying off their staff in order to reduce the number of people they will cater for. Most of these private institutions, companies, parastatals, they are laying off their staff because they can't cater for them now. And at the end of the day, they would still need some other persons to do this job when the work resumes finally. But the fact remains that not all the people who lose their job will get employed immediately as work resumes. Apart from that, there are other institutions now that cannot run again as a result of this COVID-19 lockdown and experiences. They say they eased the lockdown. We should not forget the fact that there are still interstate lockdown. People cannot move legally from state to state. And if you have to say there is solution to that, or there will be solution to that very soon, the fact remains that so many companies must have died before the end of that lockdown, because there are companies whose raw material cannot come from the location where they are operating, except from other states or other countries. And you should remember that not only Nigeria is locked, several other countries in the world are locked, and production cannot even take place for the raw material, whether chemical or agricultural raw materials, cannot even come. I watched on AIT last night, where they are looking at the effect of COVID-19 on agric products. And the farmer, a farmer was telling me, a poultry farmer was saying it on the air, that there are many farms now placed on for sale because the owners can no longer run them. And they showed his own farm, the farmer who was talking, that he now have more eggs than the birds, because the buyers are not ready to buy. There is no means of taking the products to the main market. Even if you try to do so, you need to pay heavily to security agents to pass through. And when you finally get the goods to the market, the buyers are coming with their own price, because the consumers don't even have money to even buy these products. It is someone who had eaten enough that will buy products. But the fact remains that nobody has even eaten enough, because they don't even have salary. Majority of Nigerians who are working under private firm. Initially, we have the issue of unemployment in Nigeria, that is said that over 60% of Nigerian population are unemployed. Right now, the percentage has increased, because those who are actually either underemployed or partially employed were being laid off under COVID-19 lockdown, and companies can no longer pay. Those people who cannot get paid, or who are even still in their work but cannot get any money, there is no how they can buy anything. Everybody now spend their money on their needs, not on their wants anymore. And to say you want to buy egg, you know that you must have even eaten enough and you have extra. Now, if the egg seller cannot sell eggs, who will buy chicken? And the farmer is running at loss. The vegetable farmer says after harvesting, he has just 2 days to keep the vegetable before it got rotten. The farms are there. The plants are getting old and rotting on the plant, because they cannot even move them to the main market. And the little that were taken to the main market, there was no money in circulation to get them used. If agriculture sector is complaining, I know every other sectors in the country will complain, and not just in Nigeria but globally. Now, we have not even started seeing the aftermath of COVID-19. We are only preparing for the aftermath, because the fact remains that we are still going to see more persons lose their job if this thing did not stop on time, because more companies will shut down when they can no longer afford to pay their workers. Imagine government parastatal saying that they can't afford to pay more than 50%, some are saying 30%. We are all aware that all medical staff nationwide say they cannot be the frontline workers right now, and yet somebody will slash their salary. When those who are even sitting down at home are getting full paid, now those who are even working are protesting that they cannot get half salary. And if government cannot pay full salary, despite the fact that they are still sharing allocation, I wonder how private organization will get money. Because let's take schools for instance. The schools are not operating. Parents are not paying school fees. Then somebody will tell me, and after all, they are doing online schooling. They are doing online schooling, but do you know that to get those installation and the system running, the school owner needs to get some gadgets, sophisticated gadgets, some facilities, and pay more on subscription to make sure that the service is active. Then most of them, when they get this online training to their students, how many parents are paying? How do they hold their parents responsible for those services to come and pay? Some parents are even seeing it as a charity organization, a charity service that nobody should pay for it. And whether a parent accepts it or not, how do you hold them? How do you force them to come and pay? And such school will not be able to pay their teachers. If they cannot pay their teachers from the little they are making online, that means some parents who are even paying will get discouraged, because when they get to know that teachers are not being paid, then what's the essence of paying the money? Then the money will no longer come in. Some schools will close down. How many schools have parents that can access online? Forget the fact that we have a lot of persons with Android phone in Nigeria. Most persons' Android phone is just to snap pictures. They can't go online. There is no money now to buy data. To buy data in Nigeria, you need electricity to even use it. How many hours in a day do we have electricity? Then, to run a generator, you need money to run generator. Is it when we have not been paid that we will run generator? Then you buy the data will expire because you don't have electricity to charge your phone or use it. And if lectures were to run for 3 kids in 3 different classes, what will you do? You need to run a generator to charge the phone or the laptop. You need to run a data to make sure that the service is okay, and you also need to be there to monitor it. You realize that after spending your money on fuel, spending your money on data, you still pay the service of the person giving the online classes. How do you cope as a parent? And you should remember that most of the parents are workers of these banks that have laid off their staff, or government parastatals that have reduced their payment, or those who are even still in the job, but the company has told them practically that till COVID-19 will be over, they can't afford to pay more salary. They are suspending their services until school resumes or work resumes, irrespective of the case. Now, the question is, we cannot use the whole day to dwell on the problem. What is the way forward? Because that should be the aftermath we want to talk about. The way forward is very easy and it's simple. It is creativity. This is the time for everybody to go inward. Ask yourself, what do I have to offer my country? Apart from knowing what you need to offer your country, you need to know how to offer your country what you have within the available space. When I say available space, probably online, because not everybody can move from state to state or community to community with the situation of things. If you have to provide any service or sell any goods, you need to see how you can do it. Creativity is needed. And you have to do, because whatever business you want to venture into, whether service providing or sales of goods and services, or anyhow you want to put it, the fact remains that you need your customers and you need to get your goods to your customers. How do you do it? And you should remember that there are people who have been doing this business long before you started it. How do you want to do your own to make it different, unique, that people will leave those who have been into that business for a long time and start patronizing you? How do you think you want to do your own? Those are the things that make you make money now. You must not just think of what to do, but how to do it differently from every other person so that you can get your money. If not, if you venture into any business now, this is the most dangerous time to start any business, because there's no security for your business anywhere at the moment. Any attempt to sleep, you are slipping into recession in Nigeria. You sleep, you are slipping into poverty. And I'm very sure with the rate at which people are losing their job, we are having more dependence on us, those of us who say one or two things doing, than we used to have before the emergence of COVID-19. Only few persons are working right now, and many mouths are to be fed. Glory be to T as an organization that I have learned my lessons and I have taken a bold step right since December. I resigned from my job last December. Until this moment, I have never received any salary from any person. But glory be to God, I took that decision when I was supposed. Because the question I was asking myself is, if I'm still under employment, how do I feed? How do I take care of my family? How do I pay bills? And being the first son in the family, my mother is on my neck. My siblings are on my neck. My children are there. My wife is there. My wife is a teacher. She has not been paid. I think the last salary she collected was March. She has not gotten anything after that. How do I take care of the family if I am still in teaching? Glory be to God, I resigned my job and I've started my business. Please, the way forward now is creativity. Think of what you can do. Think of how to do it differently, that every other person will want to patronize you, unlike those who have been in the business for years. Then think of how you're going to do it, because more than 100 persons are coming into that business you want to venture into the very day you are coming into it. Let me use my own case for instance. I'm into buying and selling biscuits, wholesales. I realized that the community where I started my business, there was just 1 or 2 persons before I started it. But after me, we are more than 15 now. Right now, as I'm telling to you, in the same community. The landscape had not increased, but the wholesalers in this community had increased. What do I do? How do I make my own sales? How do I make every person patronize me? I had to devise a method of taking it to their household. All retailers in my community, I went around advertising to them that this is what I do. I sell in wholesales. I give them my business card. I ask them to call me. I'm going to bring it for you. Other people in the business are sitting down, waiting for customers to come and patronize them. I am busy moving from store to store, taking the goods to them even when they have not asked for it. I will go to your store, I will check what you say, I will tell you this one is going down, it is time to buy this, it is time to do this. And that is how I'm making sales now. I had to, in fact, I went as far as buying a bicycle. I thought of buying Okada, but I was thinking, how will I be fueling the bike and making maintenance? But bicycle, I don't need to buy fuel. I am the fuel myself. And I'm taking it to their doorstep. They prefer to buy from me because they will call me and the goods will come to them. But they will need to go to other persons before they make their selection. They can sit, their customers will come, ask for something, they don't have it, they will call me, I will take it to them and they will sell to their customers. That is what I'm doing differently. You too should know what you want to do, how you want to do it differently, because some people, hundreds of people are there in that business before you come in, whether goods or services, and hundreds of people are joining the business as you are joining it, and at the same time they are being creative like you are. Some are even more creative than you are. You should not just say because you have done it one or a particular way and it's working, then you relax. The moment that one is working, start thinking of other ways of doing it. Because the aftermath of COVID-19 in relation to unemployment will be very worse. Will be worse. Because some parents will not be able to return their children to school because they don't have means to survive. That means schools will lose their staff and they can't even recruit new ones because most children will not return to the school where they were before. Most companies will not operate again because they can't get raw material, and the money they were supposed to use to get raw material had been used to pay part salary for those who stayed with them for a long time. And the producer or the director himself has spent the remaining money feeding his family. That company is dead even before COVID-19 will resume or will stop. Now the fact remains that many persons will lose their job. Many persons will not resume their job anymore because they are even enjoying what they are doing now to survive than the business they were doing or the job they were doing to earn salary. That means most companies will collapse for SMEs. It is only SME that is strong, and you that you are good at what you're doing and you know what you want to do and you are ready to do it. Those are the businesses that will survive. Many persons will run private business after COVID-19. Most companies will lose their staff and they won't even bother getting more hands because they don't even have the means to maintain more persons. Many persons are now learning how to manage the little resources they have, unlike what they used to do before. If you have not started learning how to do yours, please learn now. This is the right time to do so. The only solution to the issue of unemployment after COVID-19 is creativity. Think of what you can do, think of how you're going to do it differently, and think of how you're going to make your own unique from people who have been doing it before you and those who join it with you and those who will join it after you. If there's any question in relating to what we have discussed tonight, or you have any business you have in mind and you want to seek advice of how to start, what to do differently, and how to go about it, put your questions in the group platform. Answers will follow it. If we are not online immediately to answer, as soon as we come online, we will give response to you. I wish you happy viewing, and every one of us will survive this COVID-19 with the effects and the aftermath.
Hello everyone, glad having you in this session. My name is Abisam and I shall be your anchor for this particular segment. I want to count it a privilege from the coordinators of the Treasured Entrepreneur Association for listing me as part of the facilitators for this particular summit. And I've been given the topic technology as a catalyst for overcoming poverty and unemployment. Of course, there are diverse ways with which you can look at this topic. It's a very broad topic, but I'm going to reduce the scope to entrepreneurship. How has technology impacted our business life? The business that we do in this dispensation has no boundary. Do you know why? Because of the advent of technology. I, as a living example, I have done more for myself in terms of the usage of technology with respect to my entrepreneurial adventure. So on this topic, I've pieced it into 3 aspects on how technology can help to overcome poverty. Now, the first one is e-learning. Do you now know that it is no longer an excuse why you have not acquired that skill or skills you desire to? It is no longer an excuse of where you are located. It is no longer an excuse. Where you are from, it is no longer an excuse. Many entrepreneurs today are able to acquire what they claim to know today virtually. Many of these things that we do not learn them in the school. Most of us did not even go for formal training offline. Most of all these things that we do are learned online. And of course, we are in a dispensation that says the more you know, the more you earn. People pay for knowledge. They pay for the knowledge of what you can do. So how can technology help you to alleviate poverty in this aspect? Is that technology can act as an intermediary between you and the world, between you and that resource person. There are a lot of summits that are coming up. There are a lot of summits that are taking place, and many people have participated in such summits, even from the confines of their home. So if I'm a graphics designer today, I can boldly tell you that I didn't go for any statutory training. Everything I've learned were from online resources. YouTube is your friend. Udemy is your friend. Google is your friend. So most of the things that we do are not what we were taught in the university. They were what we learned online via various e-learning platforms. Glory to God. The T itself, the Treasure Entrepreneur Group itself is an e-learning platform. Yes, that is why many of us, we are glued to this association. Why? Because there has been series of trainings that has been delivered by a resource person, myself inclusive, that has impacted many lives. There are testimonies that has abound as a result of the several trainings that has taken place on the T platform. So, if anybody is still poor as a result of not having adequate knowledge, then the person is not making use of technology adequately. Because technology has come to impact how much we know to offer the world. And of course, the more you know, the more people will be associating with you, and the more money you can make. What have you learned over the years? Or what is stopping you from learning that business? That business you have been anticipating to go into, but you want to understand the rudiment of the business. What is stopping you? What? You have no excuse. You have no excuse because of technology has made life so easy. So we have e-commerce as well. We have the what? E-payment as well. So I've broken this particular topic into 3, and I've prepared 3 different slides to elaborate my point. So let's go into the slide. So slide number 1 talks about the e-learning. We said entrepreneurs in remote and difficult to access location can use e-learning platforms to access training and business advisory services. I believe you agree with me. So by virtue of this, we can say that poverty can be what? Alleviated. So it is no longer I'm in a village in Ekiti, or I'm in a village in Bayelsa, I'm in a village in Jigawa. No, it is no longer an excuse. If you have the facility to connect with the world, then you have the facility to reach anyone. Like some of you, we might never have the opportunity to see face to face. But look at what is happening by virtue of technology. Either we like it or not, one or two or few of us will still gain one or two things that will impact their life forever by virtue of this summit. So what are we now saying? So by virtue of e-learning, we can have access to resource persons on various business ideas at various locations in the world. When I was to be trained about freelance writing, the person who trained me never even knew she has trained someone. It started from an article, and I followed up on the person, read several of her posts, and I was able to do a lot with my freelance writing career. Another thing about e-learning is that it is cost effective. Imagine if this summit that is taking place online now, imagine if this summit is to take place in Calabar and you are in Sokoto and you want to be part of this training. How would that have been possible? Then you start saving money for hotel booking, you start saving money for transportation, you start saving money for feeding, a lot of things and emergencies. But by virtue of this, you are in the confines of your home and you are following this particular summit. Is this not wonderful? This is what technology can do. And at the end of this summit, I know many of us, we are going to have, another refreshing encounter in our entrepreneurial journey. So, number one, it is cost effective, so money is not wasting. Number two, you don't have to struggle to be trained. A lot of resources online, a lot of e-learning platform online that can change our orientation from being an ignorant to someone who is well knowledgeable to the point that anyone and anywhere in the world can be paid for his or her service. So if I'm knowledgeable enough, possibly maybe I'm into agriculture, or I've learned the act of online trading, agro-allied products, you understand? I've learned it. It's not that I will learn it in school. I learned it via various online platforms, via Google, via Udemy, via YouTube, and all other video blogging websites. Then anyone in the world can pay me for my knowledge. We are in a dispensation where people pay for the knowledge you carry, and not just the credentials. So e-learning has really saved a lot of us, myself inclusive, from financial embarrassment to a point where if we need money, we know what to do and where to go. Number two, e-commerce. You see, there are ways with which our forefathers do their business. And many of them, when they are into this business, they think of the locals. And that is why many of them are localized and their business perished in their own eye, even in their village. But in this present dispensation, your client is no longer that man on your street or that woman on your street. You are into fashion designing, good, and you have some materials you've designed and you hung them on in your shops. What is stopping you for calling a professional photographer? Snap your material, create a Facebook page, create a YouTube account, create an Instagram account, and flaunt your handwork. That is the beginning of e-commerce. We call it digital marketing. A lot of us have been helped by virtue of digital marketing. There was a time I acquired a skill, a very new skill, a very fresh skill, and then I was like, how can I monetize this skill? The next thing I did was to create a social media account with Facebook. I did Facebook marketing, and before you know it, people start contacting me. I want to be part of this, I want to be part of that, I want to be part of that. And before you know it, I directed them to a special group. Then the training was held, and before you know it, I was paid for the knowledge I acquired like few days back. That is e-commerce via digital marketing. So what are we saying? We are saying that successful technology does not just solve problems. a technology that is successful does not just solve problem, it can also promote inclusive development. Now, the people that participated in my training are not people in my locality, are not people from Lagos. In fact, I targeted some areas that I know that big guys are residing. I targeted states like Port Harcourt. I targeted states like places like Abuja. I targeted, some local places where I know that people that will need the service will be residents in that place. That is the beauty of digital marketing. For instance, if I have a goods or a product or a service to offer, and I'm looking at targeting politicians, digital marketing or online marketing has made it so easy, such that I can transact business with these people even without them seeing me. All they need to see is what I do and a copy of my product. And that is where you'll be needing copywriters. You understand? And that's what I meant by copy. So for instance, if I'm selling gas cylinder, and I want people in Abuja or FCT particularly to patronize me, it is not a big deal any longer. Unlike before, where I'll be looking at the locals of my street to come and buy from me, and many of them may not buy cylinder till the next 3, 4, 5 years. So how will my business survive? How will your business survive? You have been doing tailoring work for how many years? How have you been faring? How have you been coping? Are people still buying clothes on your streets? Do you have a social media account? You are into cake making, bead making, and the likes. And in fact, you've rented a shop, and that is what you do. When do you intend to start, having customers from outside the confine of that street? Because that is the essence of e-commerce. So e-commerce or technology via e-commerce has come to elevate poverty, can help us elevate poverty, can help us overcome poverty, because you can have the shop, you can have the knowledge, you can have the skills, still be poor when you are not in the right environment, when you are not marketing to the right people. There is a woman that sells cassava powder. I don't know how you people call it, and this gari, yes. And people from other states used to come and buy this cassava from her. Do you know why? Because of her packaging. Because of what? Of her packaging. For the fact that she sells packaged gari, she has social media accounts, everything is just, I don't know, but I know she has a very fantastic digital marketer that is helping her out. Because I wonder how someone could take gari that is everywhere, could still take it over to the internet. Some people sell pomo, all those dry pomo. So that is how technology has helped some entrepreneurs, and that is how technology can also help you out of that poverty. I know many of us, we have been claiming we are entrepreneurs, yet we have nothing to show for it. Possibly we have not been looking at maximizing the advantage of technology in this aspect. So we say that technology can help to improve rural-urban business relationship, and it can help us to sell whatever goods or service, either digital or physical. So the last one there is e-payment. Gone are those days where payment is an issue. So far so good in my entrepreneurial journey. I've been able to transact business with individuals outside the shores of Africa. Like I said, I'm a freelance writer, and I belong to freelance writing platforms where we meet international persons, individuals that gives us job to do for them. Those that started this business earlier enough than we are, they had challenge of payment. And if we are talking about various payment gateway, we talk about PayPal, we talk about Payoneer, World Remit. There are many in Nigeria. We talk about Paystack, we talk about Paga, QuickTeller, and many others. In those days, there is nothing like that. We have nothing like all these I've mentioned. But in this present dispensation, your fear should not be who will pay me for what I'm manufacturing locally. In as much as you are sure of your art, then payment is not an issue. On several occasions, I've helped people to I've guided people to create Payoneer accounts. If PayPal is not accepting Nigeria, there are 1001 alternative to PayPal. So for the fact that you are a farmer, who told you you can't go into export, international export? Besides, everything we use here in Nigeria, most of everything we use here in Nigeria, they are imported. Somebody in somewhere locally in their country made what we are using in this country. So who is telling us that we too can manufacture things locally and send them? When last did you even make research? You have access to charcoal production environment here in Nigeria. Possibly in your area, they used to manufacture charcoal. Do you know that charcoal on its own is hot cake if you can export it? Have you even learned the art of goods export? Have you done the training? You are in Ondo State, a lot of cocoa farmers there. Have you thought of acting as intermediary between this cocoa farmer and international beverage companies? Have you sat down for once and imagine how many countries are craving to have cassava, our local cassava here, that is wasting? Have you thought of it? Cashew nuts. Have you thought of it? Now, even if you have access to this thing, I know some of us will say like, how will they pay me? So technology has broken that barrier. Like I said, we have several alternatives. We have options now. In fact, it is left to you to decide which company to patronize. So, in a way, technology can help us overcome poverty in terms of payment for our goods and service that we render to people. If I am a clothes designer, and I'm in let's say Oyo State, or maybe I'm in Oyo, but I'm into clothes designing, customizing of clothes. For the fact that I'm in Oyo doesn't mean that I can't transact business with somebody in Canada and the person can't pay me. All I need to do is use the avenue of technology to do that. So with that, more money into our pockets. So that is what technology has come to do. So as it is, in fact, this COVID-19 has exposed many more people into the usage of technology. I can tell you, after this COVID-19, a new crop of entrepreneurs are going to flood the airways. Why? Because many of us have now tasted, have even gone in depth into our knowledge of technology, and now it can benefit our pockets. So I would advise us to take our time to look at the exposures as given in this presentation on technology, and how it can help us overcome poverty. And I want us to act with respect to all that has been said. As entrepreneur, we are the most advantaged as far as this situation of COVID-19 is concerned. We are the most advantaged. Because what? Because of technology that we have at the tip of our fingers. So our businesses, our services have no bounds, have no barrier by virtue of the technologies that we make use of. The important thing is, if you are not exposed to this technology, you do the training, you join the classes. And that is where we have e-learning. You don't have to come physically. You don't have to approach a resource person physically. You see someone doing something that you like or that you love, and you want to also be able to, you want to be able to do such a thing. Yeah, technology has made life easy. You can book a session with such a fellow, and the training will be done online without you leaving the comfort of your home. And before you know it, you can start thinking of monetizing whatever knowledge you have acquired. So if a training costs 100,000 naira and you have the adequate business sense, you should not look at the money to acquire the knowledge. You should look at what you can earn with that knowledge. And that is the orientation that I want us to carry. Because many of us, by the time you say, there's a training coming up, pay this amount, and like, how will I pay this amount? You are looking at the money, you are not looking at what you can make out of the knowledge. What qualifies me to be part of the speakers of this particular summit? What do you think qualifies me? Is the exposure that I've gained over the years, over time. Many people are doing better than me in this business. I can emphatically say that I have some gurus among us. But what has distinguished us is that I have added training to mine, because I know a lot of people want to learn one thing or the other. Some people acquire the knowledge and sit on it, while some people acquire the knowledge and try to impart others. And I think that is what has qualified me to be part of the speaker for this particular summit. So I will advise us to take adequate advantage of this technology era, so that we'll be part of those that will tell the story of the evolution. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you have learned one or two things with respect to this.
Usually known as Coach Rally, and we are having a short session titled "The Importance of Mentoring for the Unemployed, Underemployed, and Young Entrepreneurs for a Prosperous Life." Let's face it, the world has changed, and this change is here to stay. In that case, how can you remain relevant in your chosen field? Despite this lockdown, a lot of companies are thriving. So how are you going to cope with the changes ahead? These companies that are thriving are already preparing for the changes coming. So it's necessary as well for you to be able to cope with the changes that are coming. Now, change is stressful, we all know that, but it's the only thing that is constant in life, and we have to be ready. One way to do that is to have a mentor that can guide you successfully till you find your feet. To be successful in life, mentors are needed regardless of your situation career-wise, whether you are unemployed, underemployed, or you are an entrepreneur. Yes, you that are currently unemployed, you need a mentor, and believe me, you soon see the reason why. So the question is, who is a mentor and why are they important? A mentor is someone who offers his or her advice, knowledge, and wisdom to the others with less experience in order to help them successfully navigate their paths. As we transition from one phase of growth to the other, our parents, our elder siblings, teachers, even extended family members have acted as natural mentors in one capacity or the other. But as we start building our careers, more and more is expected than what our natural mentors can give us. Thus, we need to turn to professional, let's say somebody totally out of your school, let's say programming or even coding, and there are so many easy to learn textbooks, coding for dummies, programming for dummies, that you can quickly go through and it will assist you. So it's a good way of getting added skills that you would normally not get in your line of work. So just imagine you had coding, you had programming and other skills like that onto your LinkedIn page or the CV, or when you're writing your CV on the history or the side project section. Believe you me, it will give you a huge boost. Now we move on to the underemployed. The underemployed are those people that are currently employed, but for some reason they are not satisfied with their job, maybe because their skills are being underutilized. They are not in their desired position. So we'll show them how having a mentor would definitely improve their chances for success. Number one, it contributes to their success by improving their performance, increasing their confidence, addressing strengths and their weaknesses. It's important for you to always take notes of your strengths and weaknesses, but the truth of the matter is you can never know yourself totally. So by having a mentor, the mentor will ask the right questions and they'll be able to point down certain skills, certain strengths that are hidden that you don't even know that are there, and point out as well the weaknesses that you don't see as weaknesses, but they are actually weaknesses. Moving on, number two, it allows you to take ownership of your professional and personal development rather than feeling stagnant in your roles. Now, when you've gotten the right exposure and the necessary skills, the necessary knowledge from your mentor, you then pass on the baton to your junior colleagues. Imagine being a sort of mentor, in quotes, to your junior colleagues. Even without being asked, you are assisting them, giving them the necessary tools and information for them to be better at their job. It will give you the right exposure in the company, and this can only help your career in the long run. Now, we move on to the entrepreneurs, the business moguls. The benefits of having a mentor, a business mentor. Number one, the biggest benefit of having a business mentor is having someone you can ask questions and get advice from. As a new business owner, you are likely to get advice, more advice than you ask for, from people like your family members, your friends, and the people who own the store next door, even though what you are doing is totally different. Now, while some of their advice may be sound, your mentor will help you sort out which ones you should be following, while they advise you on the more complicated business matters that your friends and your family will not know how to solve. So there's a difference between advice and advice. You need to get that clear. Number two, business mentors will help you look at problems and situations from perspectives that you will not have thought of on your own. For example, as a new business owner, you may be having trouble looking at your business through the eyes of a customer, potential investor, or government official. Now, your business mentor, who has dealt with these people often, can help you understand how your businesses will look to these individuals. Moving on, as well as the entrepreneurs. Now, I'm sure the questions running through the minds of the unemployed is, how can I find a mentor if I am unemployed? Now, employed professionals have relatively easier access to mentors because their employees, usually their employers, provides one in the form of their boss, their corporate mentoring programs, and in-house trainers. Now, for you that you are unemployed, you need to look elsewhere to look for your mentors. What are the things you should look out for, and where are the places you need to go? You need to look out for somebody who is already employed in your target field. It is very, very important. Look for somebody who is already employed in your target field, because they will have the connections with decision makers who are probably looking for talents like you. Plus, they have first-hand experience in the industry you are trying to penetrate, so they know what recruiters ask for when reviewing job applications. You need to look for a teacher. Look for a mentor who enjoys sharing what they know. Now, stay away from people who are scared of sharing their content and skills because they are afraid you might get ahead of them. You get to know this by engaging with them. So it's not that you just go and meet somebody on this first day and then you tell them, oh, please, can you be my mentor? You need to talk to them, engage them, build a relationship with them. Now, the people that are scared of sharing their content and skills with you are not real mentors. They might just be using you to do their work. So you need to find people who are willing to share their skills, who are willing to share their expertise, and are willing to share their knowledge with you. Another thing is, look for a good listener. Good mentors listen. As more fresh graduates, you may be pressured, to get a job as quickly as possible because you have parents waiting on you, you have bills to take care of, you have so many things to do. So you are being pressurized to get a mentor, but just be on the lookout for somebody that has a good connection. Good connection of network is going to assist you a lot. Now, how do you approach these potential mentors? We've already spoken about the things to look out when choosing a mentor. So now, how do we approach them? Now, this is probably the scariest part for a lot of people. I know it's not easy to just walk up to somebody you don't know, even somebody that you know and you respect from a distance, to walk up to them. But with time, you get back to it. And there's one thing I must tell you now: don't be scared. You will get rejected. You might get rejected. You probably get rejected. So have a list of people that you would love to be your mentors. If the first person rejects you, don't be annoyed, don't be upset. Simply move on to the next person and keep moving on and keep searching and keep researching till you get the right person. Now, number one, email. You can send email, cold calling, basically. So sending emails to people that you feel can be your mentors. However, this email, is best to use email as your last option. The first thing is to build up your courage to send a message to your mentor. If you could chat with them just for like 5-10 minutes, send them a message via Facebook. If you have their Facebook page, their LinkedIn, they get the results immediately, but it doesn't always work that way. Then another thing you can do is you can ask specific questions about your job search. If you are still looking for a job, don't just go up there, you don't have a job, oh please, will you be my mentor? Show them that you are not desperate, but you are simply looking for guidance and experience from the best person possible. So ask job related questions, be specific. Now, don't ask if there's a vacancy in their company. That comes off as too desperate, and they won't even look at you twice because they'll be like, you don't have what it takes. what you can do is ask for tips about your job search. You can ask for tips on how they got started, how they were able to connect with the recruiters, what kind of questions do the recruiters look for, what kind of things will he be looking for in a fresh graduate. So it will give you an idea of how to build your CV, and then also give you a platform, a necessary platform to connect with him. Once you've gotten one question answered, now apply what they taught you in another company and then give them feedback. Once you give them feedback that, oh, this is what you do and this is the results you get, oh, they'll be impressed that, oh, okay, so you're actually willing to go all the way, excuse me, then they will definitely take an interest in you. Say, for example, your new mentor gave you advice about sending you thank you notes after an interview, and you did it and you got a favorable response from the interviewer. You need to share this kind of news with your mentor so that they know that, yes, their advice actually worked, and it shows that you yourself,